A lot of people say duh, but they don't do that. I still see what they're posting on social media, and they're still talking about their network marketing product first. They're leading with the network marketing product. They're leading with, go ahead and join this cool opportunity I've got. And frankly, it's freaking annoying. What's up, guys? Hey, in this episode, I'm going to share with you a little bit more about what you can do as a network marketer to just pull ahead of your upline, literally outperform them. The first time I ever started using this strategy, specifically this strategy I'm going to share with you guys now, it was not uncommon for people in my upline to reach out and be like, hey, how you doing that thing? How you doing that? Could you tell me how you do that? Teach me how you do that too? Now, as I share with you, some of you guys might be like, there's no chance I will ever go do that. And I totally get that. But I also want to be real with you and share with you why you have all of these people who are brand new to network marketing running circles around those using traditional methods. Let me just actually use this camera as an example. So I'm an internet marketer, right? I build sales funnels, I build marketing machines and lead machines for big companies, and I consult on it. That's my real business. But it's so funny with things like social media and Facebook and YouTube and short form content and all this stuff. It's kind of funny. We were talking about this as a team the other day, that we find ourselves in this position where we have to be like pseudo production studios now. We're finding ourselves in this position where it's like, hey, if you're going to go out and use the internet to its advantage, we got to start acting like a production studio almost. Like I have an editor, right? I've got video people. I have audio people. I have graphics people. And you don't have to go to the extent of what I do. I'm full-time on it, and that's what my real business is. I own $1 million studio. Like, we're deep. We're neck deep in it, right? I was laughing about it, though, thinking about it with you guys, with my network marketing crew. Network marketers also, because of the internet, find themselves in a scenario that those who started the game in the 1970s and 80s, those who got big in network marketing from that era, they never had to deal with the things that you have to deal with now. There's stuff that's on your plate that you kind of pseudo have to go, you got to deal with it. The internet changed the game. It's ridiculous to think that you would never use the internet to go recruit somebody, right? Last week, I had a buddy of mine who has spent $150 million on Facebook ads get up and teach this workshop. And he taught this workshop to business owners who have never really used ads. And he's like, hey, look, don't try to be me. Don't try to be all advanced. He's like, here's like a 3 thing. Is just go do this on Facebook ads. You'll probably win. It was a really good workshop. But in there, what he did is he showed the actual data behind people who use Facebook. And the data shows that basically humanity is on Facebook. Like everybody's on it. Every demographic is represented. Every psychographic, every market, every industry is represented on Facebook. It's ridiculous to think that you wouldn't use social media or the internet to go out and grow your business. And that's kind of my first main point with this, is that here's how younger network marketers are just running circles around kind of the old school network marketers who refuse to change. I still get messages from people who are like, I can't believe you're getting away from the old ways, the things that birthed this industry. Network marketing has been around a long time now, and the internet wasn't around when it started. So it's adapt or die, right? So what I'm talking about, though, the thing that I'm finding more and more network marketers who actually go big are kind of having to deal with now is this reality that to be successful online using network marketing or using the internet, to grow something, you have to think of yourself more and more like a personal brand, okay? That's the big secret. I'm not just going off and joining Joe Schmo's downline. I'm joining Joe Schmo, who happens to have a downline. That strategic positioning shift right there brings a lot of advantages. Like 10 years ago, the big thing was, if you're going to go use the internet, build your own products, attract them to it, get paid for those products, and then on the back, promote your downline. And it's like, that still works. And I absolutely use that. But this reality where I like Susie Q and Joe Schmo as a person, and I happen to like the downline and network marketing company they're in second. And what's cool about that is it actually lets you play on the social media channels easier. Because Facebook and Zucker, they don't like us promoting network marketing stuff on social media, right? You know that, I know that. So how do you get around that? How do you still use the internet platforms when you have this scenario where the very platforms don't want you to be talking about the very thing you're trying to talk about? And there's a lot of product clever things that we can do. There's a lot of, and it's not right in a gray area. There's a lot of things we can do with the product to sell better. There's a lot of things we can do to still get a ton of traffic and get a lot of eyeballs. But the positioning that you kind of have now is that you are the personal brand. You're what is growing the following. And then off the back of that, you're now growing and recruiting your downline. Gary Vee talks about this as well. There was this video that he put out. He said, you're going to have to start recognizing that online, Steve Larson is a media company. I am my own media business and my products are second. Like you think about it, I mean, we track followers and have you subscribed to the YouTube channel and have you, we look at that stuff obviously. And those are, huge advantages to using the internet, but we need to use our strategic positioning to go grow personal brands. Some people are going to hear me say that and they're like, there's absolutely no chance I'm ever going to do that. Like it's a cold day in hell if you ever give me to go do that. And I get that. And I understand that. I actually was the same way. 10 years ago, I literally said, I'm not going to be making YouTube videos. I was so shy. I mean, I literally went to therapy because I was so shy on like how to use my voice. I kind of had a clinical fear of adults and authority figures, and I certainly wouldn't be speaking on stages. And so my point is it's a learnable skill set. And if you're like, there's no way I'm ever going to be like a personal brand and one of those talking faces and heads, it's like, well, you're actually missing out on one of the greatest advantages of the internet. And it's one of the greatest bridges between using the infinite internet traffic that's out there and your network marketing business. People who go join a network marketing company now and only ever go promote the network marketing offer or product, they're the ones that are suffering the most. They're the ones that are having the hardest time using the internet for leads and sales. But it's the people who are willing to grow their own personal brand. One of the things that they produce and provide is the opportunity to join the network marketing company that they're in. They're the ones that are winning. You want to think about growing a following. You want to think about growing subscribership. You want to think about growing your own list and position yourself that way. And it's funny because I teach this and a lot of people that I teach this to, they're like, well, duh. A lot of people say duh, but they don't do that. I still see what they're posting on social media and they're still talking about their network marketing product first. They're leading with the network marketing product. They're leading with, go ahead and join this cool opportunity I've got. And frankly, it's freaking annoying. It's very short-lived. It's a very, very short road that the internet will tolerate you on that. Pretty soon people just stop following you. They're like, oh my gosh, it's literally just a pitch fest whenever I come see your crap. I look at your profile, I look at your stuff. It's a pitch fest. And I'm telling you how to get away from the pitch fest. And so you may not like the answer, but if you're going to play on the internet, you have to kind of get over the notion of creating content of some sort. It doesn't have to be content like this. Your face doesn't need to be on it. But it's kind of ludicrous to think that you would ever be on the internet using the internet for leads and not make content. Why? Because the internet is content, right? It's just a bunch of data going between servers. What's going server to server and between the users? Content. You're loading a web page that has stuff on it. You're clicking on a video. You're reading a post. You're consuming. The internet is content. And so to think that you'll use the internet and not make stuff, not make content, not make your own brand, not make your own stuff, it is a little bit far-fetched. It's kind of ridiculous to think that. It's a little bit like, it's funny, I brought my kids to a swimming pool, and there's always that person at the public pool who gets mad that they got splashed. And I'm like, you're at a freaking pool, idiot. Like, it's so dumb. It's like going backpacking and getting angry that you have a backpack on. It's like, par for the course, cupcake. What are you talking about? Like, welcome to the game, I heard someone else explain it once. It's like a football player yelling to the coach, "Coach, I got tackled." You're playing football, duh. You know what I mean? It's like, so I think of that and I'm trying to absolutely shatter any notion that you can just afford to really use the internet to grow your network marketing business and not make content or not make some kind of noise or not get attention. And you know what comes with attention? Some people just don't like you. And some people just love you. And you got everything in between. And you kind of have to get over that. Growing your personal brand and branding yourself as something, it's like the easiest lead source on the planet. It's like the fastest way to tap into the infinite leads that are out there. Take, for example, this hoodie that I'm wearing, right? This is my personal brand. I started the Capos Pig brand 7-8 years ago, right? Worked with a lawyer, got all the intellectual property, got the rights, got all that stuff. And more people follow me because they like what I stand for than they know what I sell. Did you hear what I just said? That's what I'm talking about. Personal brand has so little to do with colors and logos and fonts and garbage, like creating, I don't have a business card, creating business cards. Like brand literally means identity. That's it. All the other stuff that comes with it is an appendage to the fact that brand equals identity. People want to follow you because of what you stand for. So when you're starting to build a personal brand on the internet, first question you got to start asking yourself is, what do I stand for? What do I stand against? What are my values? And having the balls to share that. It's having the gumption to be able to stand up and say, this is who I am. I'm going to own that. And the beautiful thing about the internet is that it actually rewards you for being more of who you are. That's what's so cool about the internet. If I work for somebody else, right, like I used to, right? When I used to have a job back in 2016, I had to be their filter and definition and interpretation of what success is. I had to show up and wear certain things or not. I had to show up and, you're playing, there's still a political game that you play when you're working for somebody else. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? But when you're on the internet, you get to kind of create your own world that the internet rewards you for. You get to choose what you want. And sometimes that's the intimidating aspect of the internet is people are like, I have a really, really, really green light in front of me called, well, what do you want? And sometimes that's scary for people. So when you're building a personal brand, product is not the brand. And in network marketing, because your network marketing company created the product, it means you get to create the brand. And so create a personal brand. Brand yourself. Start to study what branding actually is. Because it's not, if I see any of you guys going out and like obsessing over what colors and fonts and all that crap, I'm going to reach through this camera and slap you. Okay? That stuff's like the last 2% of brand. Again, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. It's the last 2% of brand. Brand, again, has more to do with identity. Okay, so I have sold, I don't know how many tens of thousands of shirts I've sold with this capitalist pig thing because they like what I stand for. I created my own capitalist pig manifesto. I created what is capitalism, right? There's just like all real powers, there's a good way to use it and there's a bad way to use it, right? And so that's what you have to start asking yourself is, what do I stand for? What flag am I willing to plant and raise? What's the banner that I want to uphold? It has a lot to do with values and identity, all right? And you'll start to see that, again, people will start to follow you because of that. And then they're like, oh, I know Steve. I like Steve. I'm starting to trust what Steve is teaching. I'm liking his stuff. And think about how much easier it is to recruit. Of course it's easier. I'm not going to act like it isn't. It is, right? And that's the reason that I do it. And I get so many people who just push back. They're like, I want to use the internet to recruit, but I don't want to make any content. I don't want to say what my real opinions are. I don't want to create any kind of, I just don't want to offend anybody. They're so afraid. It's like they literally create a boogeyman that doesn't even freaking exist. And this imaginary boogeyman is just staring them in the proverbial face and they just don't do anything. Do you realize how easy it is to win on the internet today? So many people are just so afraid of messing up, which isn't even real, that they don't do anything. They're literally stuck in analysis paralysis. You realize how small competition actually is? I spend the most amount of my time trying to convince someone just to do what they know they should do. It's not that they don't know what to do. Sometimes it's that. But most often what stops people from actually growing a network marketing business is they just don't have the gumption to do what they know they should do. They don't have the gumption to stand up, stand out, and say, look, this is who I am. This is what I believe. I'm going to start sharing my thoughts and opinions on current events. I'm going to grow a personal brand. And yeah, if you want, I'm going to give you a link right here to check out my network marketing product or downline or your own products, right? I present my network marketing products in the larger suite of my actual products. That's how I do it. That's how I sell it, right? So I create personal brand. I go create some noise out in the internet. Noise doesn't mean annoying. It means noise. Otherwise, they'd be the same word, right? You don't have to be annoying, but there's also good strategy in that. It's like the easiest way to siphon eyeballs, right? Easiest way to get people to follow. Why do you think I do this? Yes, I want to teach. Yes, I want to share. Yes, I want to pass on. No, I'm absolutely writing network marketing books. I'm so excited to get those out there. I've been doing it for 10 years now in a very unique way. I'm very excited to teach that stuff, super excited to do it. But I'm also here to sell. Is it weird for me to just show that and pull back the curtain? Like, if it's that weird, tell me in the comments, right? I'm teaching stuff I usually charge for on this channel because I am absolutely hoping that at some point, some of you say, wow, that's cool stuff. And you know, Steve's a real dude who's just doing it. Sounds like he can solve some stuff if I join his downline. And sound like you know what I'm saying? It's one of the coolest aspects of the internet. And so many people skip it because they're like, I don't want to be one of those talking heads. Then you have false beliefs. You got some false beliefs click-clacking around the noggin, right? I don't want to be one of those talking heads. Well, maybe look at how big the wallet is of those who are willing to be the talking heads, right? Let's let some money talk, okay? I got really feisty on this topic on a training I was doing a long time ago. This girl, so she's in a network marketing business, and she was posting about how grateful she was to be in her network marketing opportunity. It was clear she was trying to like attract people to join her. So what she did, I'm not making fun of her, but I'm absolutely making fun of her. She made this post and she said, I'm so grateful to be in the network marketing opportunity that I'm in. You know, I've been in it for 3 years now. And this month, finally, I was able to afford my kids' diapers from the revenue, from the commission checks that I get from my network marketing business. And I was like, hold up. You've been in this thing 3 freaking years? 3 years? And you can afford diapers? I have 3 daughters. Diapers are like, if you get the expensive ones, I don't know, in like a big box of them, like $50. You're psyched because you're making a $50 check after 3 years? When is it time to be honest that your model's broken? What? If I gotta wait, this is not an investment. It's a business. If I'm in any business, especially where the large majority of the business is already created, the network marketing company already created the product. They already created the fulfillment. You're telling me that whatever strategy you're going after, you got to wait 3 freaking years for you to turn $50? I was like, when are we going to call a red herring here? Like, this is wrong. Like, your model's broken, or you just literally don't have one and you're lucking into sales here. Does that make sense? So I'm just trying to be very open, raw, real talk with Steve while he's driving, right? On what the patterns are of because the internet is here and the scenario and foundation has absolutely changed. Of course it's changed. It is different. What's the patterns of the winning people? They grow their own personal brands. They create a very small handful of their own products. Maybe they write a book. Maybe they put together some kind of training or whatever, right? And then they just start pumping out content, and it doesn't need to be good. That's not like the camera quality of this is that amazing. I'm in my car, right? All I'm doing is I'm being honest. The theme of my brand is honesty crossed with, I like to treat marketing like an engineer. If you haven't noticed, I like to go a little bit deep. My personal brand is the capitalist pig. I believe that there's nothing wrong with getting rich. I believe that money is a tool. Right? It's not evil. Money is nothing more than stored energy. Money collapses time. I got so many people who are not successful forever because they're just wrestling with money false beliefs. They're literally pushing away money. They don't even know it because they're sitting there and they're going, well, I'll just make just enough. It's like, you're not being a capitalist, right? Go get rich on purpose. It doesn't happen on accident. You got to be super intentional about it and super honest about it, right? So that's my personal brand, right? I had the cool opportunity to give RFK a capitalist pig shirt at the beginning of the year. It was 4 days before the election. I'm not showing any political opinion as I share this, but I was like, hey, if I got a chance to meet RFK, I was supposed to meet Tucker Carlson and Trump as well, but they were late to the venue and Secret Service was like, hey, he's got to rush out. And I was like, dang it. So I flew out explicitly for this. And I brought a bunch of capitalist pig shirts in a bunch of different sizes because I don't know what size these shirts these guys wear. And, went through Secret Service and they're scanning me and all this stuff. And I got to give RFK a capitalist pig shirt face to face. And I shook his hand and I said, I represent a community of entrepreneurs. We call ourselves the capitalist pigs. We believe that getting rich and giving back is a good thing. We believe in solving problems for profit. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we believe that it's good to make money. And I told RFK that, and he was like, that's amazing. I said, I'm only allowed to present this shirt to you if you will take the capitalist pledge, which is that you will only practice the good and right kind of capitalism. So if you get in office, I said, if you get in office, the election was in like 4 days. I said, if you get in office, will you pledge? I call it the capitalist pledge, and I pledge big market and industry and even world leaders to it. I said, will you pledge to practicing the good kind of capitalism where everybody wins in the long run, right? And you protect resources, and it's 5 points that I walk someone through. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, I will treasure this forever. And if you don't know, RFK has a gigantic hand. That guy shook my hand. We took a picture. I should put the picture in there. It'd be so cool. Anyway, but that's what I stand for. And guess what? Of course I get a little bit of heat out there from people who don't like that and don't like me. But I also get a tribe of people who do love it. And so personal brand is the fuel source. It's one of the easiest fuel sources on the planet for creating a pool of eyeballs looking at you. And then once they're already looking at you, it's pretty easy to start getting hand raises towards joining whatever you're in. In fact, the first time I ever did this was by accident. I had people who started one to two people per week reaching out saying, Steve, I don't even know what network marketing company you're in. I just want to join it. I was like, are you serious? That was the first, it was the first time that I ever built a sales funnel, and it was completely by accident. I thought that people would want to know what I'm in, and they didn't ask. I was like, okay, cool. This is what I'm in. They're like, sweet, love it. Just excited to be part of you, part of the team. Oh, I love that product. And it's funny because I thought that they would first love the product and then be like, yeah, I'll join your team. But the internet lets you flip it, where you're leading with you, and then product education and helping them see the opportunity in front of them is actually second. So anyway, I hope this episode is helpful. I have an appointment at the DMV for this new star card crap. So I'm here right now. It's not crap. It's just annoying to take more time out of my day for stuff like this. Let me do it online. Anyway. Alrighty. You guys are awesome. If there's any other questions you have or things you want me to be teaching on or share, let me know. Any other questions in the comments. Hopefully this has been helpful to you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.